Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're going to take a look at the new Dragon Claw Naganadel in the Open Great League. This Pokemon is actually quite an interesting one. It's a very squishy boy. Like, this Pokemon has 1500 bulk points usually. If you compare it to something like Namrion that has like around 2400, you have quite a huge amount less bulk than them, but with this we also do way more damage. And honestly, I was going into this video thinking, okay, I would be kind of happy if I get like a 50-50 split, something like this, but this team actually was really good, and mainly of course because of the lead of Tapu Fini. This Pokemon is ridiculous right now, like honestly one of the best Pokemon that I've played so far for the Open Great League. If you have one, definitely something I would recommend you. But also Dragalge did a quite decent job. There were quite a lot of fire types surprisingly in the meta today, and so I had quite a good time with Dragalge. Having the Awkward Tail was quite nice, and honestly this team was something that I took a little bit to try to figure out. Of course, like, it's not too crazy to have something that is like a double dragon poison backline, but what I kind of mean with this is that we have a lead here that is something that is not like as usual. Like, you don't really see too many Tapu Fini, and Tapu Fini is also not something that PvP Poke would ever tell you, but I needed a lead that is good against Gligar and has a water type fast move coverage. Because otherwise you would not always gonna bait out the Gligar, like basically that they would want to swap out, or that you're gonna bait it out with the Say-Sub of this team. The Say-Sub of this team is of course going to be our Dragalge, which has a water type coverage move in Awkward here, which also got buffed last season. And so that's kind of the way of playing this team. You kind of want to have your lead still alive, want to swap out and try to bait out whatever Pokemon is weak against water type Pokemon. And most of them are going to be ground types, which are of course those that I kind of want to avoid with the Pokemon that I have in the back. And so basically the Dragalge is also a Pokemon that you barely really see in the Open Great League, but this Pokemon is perfect for this team to get out those Gligars that think they are safe, and just to get out in general those, look at the Gang Shot by the way, still doing quite a lot of damage, but just in general getting out those ground type Pokemon. So here we're going to see that the opponent is going to still go for one Shadow Ball, which we try to retaliate with a Surf. We have some lag here, but still we were able to get to the move. It's always so awkward that always basically lag happens when you just trying to get to a move, to be fair. But as you're gonna see here, they're going to have in the back the Talonflame, and this is lovely, because at this point I know already I win this game. There's nothing the opponent can do. We can swap into our Naganadel, and as you're gonna see here, we can use a shield and we can just outspeed them. Like, there's nothing they can do. We can always outspeed them with a Dragon Claw, and so we're gonna see them sadly forfeiting. But honestly, this Pokemon was quite a lot of fun to play. Look at this. As said before, we had quite a lot of fire type Pokemon around. Here in comes the Feraligatr, which is actually okay for me. I kinda sometimes misplay this matchup. Here I stay in, which I think is also the best play that you can go for, and then you can swap out. You can swap out into either Pokemon, preferably maybe actually even the Dragalge, because you can just go for the full farm down with your fast move of Dragon Tail, and you're gonna end up with a lot of wild type coverage move against the Pokemon that we had just had in the lead. But here, of course, you're always going to be able to win a CMP tie with that Naganadel. Naganadel has a very high attack stat, and so we're going to be able to knock out the opponent's Feraligatr, and look at them. They're swapping into the Azumarill. What a huge mistake by them, because like this we can go for that Sludge Bomb on this Pokemon as well, doing some massive super effective damage, not knocking them out but getting them insanely low as well here. So we can use a shield that try to sweep the entire team with the Naganadel, but sadly, as you're gonna see, I can still go for one more charge move, but they're not gonna go down from that at all. And so yeah, we can of course swap out here. I can take a move. I don't really care too much what they want to go for. If they want to go for a Disarming Voice, go for it. But basically here at this point we should be kind of clear, as Dragalge is going to resist the fast move. I definitely can survive a Shadow Ball, there's no doubt about this. Most likely gonna put me into the red health, not even actually, and we can just go for an Awkward Tail as the opponent forfeits anyway. As you can see already, this team worked quite well. Here we're going to have a horrible lead for us. And it's going to be even worse, because you're going to get out the Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff might be even a Pokemon where the Naganadel is a bit better, because the fast move is not double, but like single super effective there. But still, I think like the charm damage would just add up that you most likely still lose the matchup. Here, we're at least still going to be able to get a shield and get an Awkward Tail off. Sadly, not going to be capable of getting to a Gang Shot again. But it is what it is. We can swap out into our Tapu Fini and try to go for the full farm down. And what we see here for the first time ever, for me at least, is the move Swift. I don't think I've seen the animation, at least like not in the last 2 years. And so that's kind of a funny one for me at least, as we're going to decide to use a shield here. They go back into the Lantern, which we can hard wall with the Naganadel. And here I decide to use a shield, because the Thunderbolt still does a ton of damage. they decide to go for the Surf, and I was kinda disappointed on this one because like Thunderbolt would have been a great shield, Surf is not a great shield, and now they decide to go for the Sludge Bomb and they survive with a 1 HP, and now they can go ahead and go for the Thunderbolt. Literally everything went against what I wanted to have here, but let's see what they're gonna do here. They decide to go into the Mandibus. Basically, if I shielded the Thunderbolt, I would have been fine. If I just knocked them out there with the 1 HP that they had left, I would have been fine. But like this, I am not going to be fine. While I can go for the full farm down, we're clearly at 1 HP here as well. And so once now is going to be knocking us out, we can still go for the Nature's Madness, dropping the opponent's defense, but this doesn't help us as the opponent can knock us out. Kind of unfortunate here, a lot of very small things that kind of didn't go our way, but we can move on to the next opponent. Oh, look at this, a Gligar in the lead, and they swap out into the Feraligatr, and that's kind of what I meant as well. I kind of misplayed this matchup a little bit here in some matches at least. What I would recommend you to do is just stay in against the Feraligatr. Just stay in, go for 1 HS Madness, and then swap out. Because you're either going to get the knockout, you're going to get the shield advantage, you can take a charge move easily from the opponent's Feraligatr because every charge move is resisted. But like this, I'm forced to go for 2 shields and lose all... yeah, basically what I had here, but it's still going to be okay maybe because the opponent swaps out into the Lantern. I can go ahead and go for a huge, gang shot, which is going to be okay. A gang shot is going to be definitely okay because they're going to use a shield, it's totally fine. But they swap out into the Gligar, allowing me to go for another charge move here. Awkward Tail is coming through, I can swap out straight away into my Tapu Fini. And we're in a great spot because we still have another Pokemon in the back that is going to be great against the Lantern. Our typing of being a Dragon type, literally any Dragon type kinda that doesn't have like a Flying type, secondary type or something like a ground type or a rock type, it's going to be fine against Lantern, hard rolling the moveset. And as you're gonna see here, we have 2 Dragon types still left. First one is coming in. I show in for the Awkward Tail here. This was kind of silly by me to not go for that and trying to go for better fast move timing, but it's still fine because we should be able to take 1 charge move from the opponent. As you can see here, we're going to be able to get to those Dragon Claws after just 5 fast moves of the Naganadel, which is really, really good, and so we can go for the full farm down and knock them out. Next opponent, Empoleon in the lead. Very bad for us. Very, very bad for our entire team. There are, of course, some weaknesses for this team. If you want to be a little bit lamer, you can also go for Feraligatr in the lead, which would help you out with this matchup, but I just kind of was sick of Feraligatr because I have it basically on every team. Like, Feraligatr is a cool Pokemon. I like that they gave it Shadow Claw. I think it's kind of balanced still, but it is definitely a Pokemon that I don't really like to use currently because I used it way too much. Anyway, the opponent goes into the Gligar. I could decide to use a shield here if I really want to align myself, and I do decide to use a shield. Go for another fast move, go for the Awkward Tail, go to try to knock them out. Let's see if this is going to work. It does not. Oh, it actually does work out. That's kind of nice for me, as now we will see that they decide to go back most likely into the Empoleon. They decide to go back into the Empoleon, farm me down, and now we're in a tough spot. I don't really know what I want to do here. I decide to go for a Surf to try to get them a little bit lower. It is not going to work because this time around they use a shield. I can let the move go through. It's going to be the Drill Peck, which is okay for me, but I have to try to reach another charge move here in time, which I can, which is cool, but I have to rely now on my Naganadel to win this game. Let's see if we can do this. We're gonna see the opponent going for a charge move. I decide to use a shield here, and it is going to be that Hydro Cannon, which I could have let go through because it would be resisted, but the opponent makes the exact same play again for whatever reason, and so that's going to be okay still for us. I'm still forced to go for a charge move. Let's see what they're going to have in the back. Is it going to be weak against us? We have to find out here. Now it's Annihilate, and no, it is not weak against us. So, next opponent, we're going to have Tapu Fini in the lead against a Swampert. That's kinda a neutral matchup for us. And this was a little bit weird because you see here, there's no Mudshot animation. The opponent is also the Water Gun animation the entire time, which is currently a bug that sometimes happens for whatever reason. Now we have the Mudshot animation, as you can see that. Now it's actually doing the animation correctly, but I decided to use a shield against the opponent. Yeah, Sludge Wave coming through is going to be fine for us. We can knock them out, and they, I guess, have no answer to Tapu Fini. Next opponent, we're going to have a great lead for us, and it's not really a great lead in total, but it's definitely the best lead that I could imagine with the backline that I have here, because if I have these Sandslash in the back, it's kind of game over, because both of the typing that we have is going to be kind of awkward for the Sandslash, and both of the typings that they have for charge moves are going to be super effective against my backline here. So I'm quite happy to get the damage onto them, because now they are not really a threat anymore. Even my Naganadel would be able to farm them down before they can go for another charge move. So I'm quite happy with this scenario. As I go into a Pelipper, Nature's Madness it is, and I should be even able to outspeed them with my other Pokemon here, with my Naganadel, to a Dragon Claw. Let's see if this is going to be able to knock them out. They are debuffed, we have a high attack stat, they are quite low in terms of their defense stat, and it is barely not enough to knock them out. I don't know, would you like to see something like a Dragon Claw buff by like 5? I think that would be kind of fine. I guess like Dragonite would be maybe a little bit better with that. I don't know, like I could see definitely this happening and being kind of balanced, but it's not something that we really have to have either. So don't really know about this, but if we had like a little bit more damage there with the Dragon Claw, that would be kind of cool. You know what would be also kind of cool? If the opponent didn't have an Altaria here, because we're going to take super effective damage from the opponent's fast move, plus they're going to have Sky Attack, most likely 2 already at this point, so I'm a little bit scared of this. But they decide to just let the Altaria go down. We can farm down, or like even go for a charge move here against the Sandslash. And look at this, by the way. They use a shield, but it still KOs them through that, which is kind of hilarious. If you didn't know, for those shields, you always take 1 damage when you use a shield, which is quite an interesting mechanic. Not too sure why this is the case, but I guess it is what it is. So yeah, every time you use a shield, you're still going to take 1 damage from the charge move, which is definitely the lowest amount that you can take, but if you have only 1 HP left, then you're going to still go down from it, which is kind of hilarious. I know, I don't think it's really a bad thing that this is in the game right now, but it's also kind of not really intuitive, as we're going to be able to see here that they have another Sludge Wave on Swampert. I don't know why people are running Sludge Wave Swampert all of a sudden. Did someone make a video about Sludge Wave Swampert? I'm not too sure. Anyway, we're going to see here the Skarmory. I decided to swap out into the Dragalge, as I have to kind of keep my lead alive. My lead is kind of very important for me. And I decided to go straight for the Brave Bird, something that I did not expect here at all. But I can go for the knockout, hopefully with the next incoming Awkward Tail. And yes, we're going to be able to do exactly this, as I swap out into the Azumarill. And they get way too much farm here. They got 4 bubbles in. I was hoping that this charge move plus the waiting time here would be enough for me to maybe catch an Ice Beam on my Tapu Fini. But as you can see here on the right side, the clock is not up yet. I wanted to go for the Dragon Claw, but the opponent can still go for that Ice Beam in time, knocking me out here. We don't have the bulk to survive even a single Ice Beam from an Azumarill. And so, sadly, while I can knock out the opponent here, the Azumarill is going to be able to knock me out for sure, and I'm just going to forfeit this battle. So, yeah, it is what it is. Let's move on to the final one. Final battle, we're going to have the Skeledirge here in the lead, which is going to be a great lead for us as I swap out into the Feraligatr again. I should have stayed in for a little bit, go for a charge move, and then swap out later on when the opponent's defense is already dropped, when the opponent already used some energy, because now I am quite far behind in terms of what I can do here, but I can still use a shield and hope that I can just go for the full farm run to still align myself. If they go back into the Skeledirge, I have the super effective Awkward Tail, which is also going to get buffed now, and so let's see what the opponent's going to decide to do here. They go ahead and go back into the Skeledirge, so we're actually still kind of fine. We have nearly 100 energy here at this point, which is kind of cool. Awkward Tail coming through, we're going to be able to do a ton of damage. We can go for another one, and as you can see, I have even another one stored already, so we're gonna get definitely the shield here. They decide to swap out now, catch the move onto the Dragonair, which is totally fine. Great play by the opponent though, but I can swap out now into my Tapu Fini, thinking I'm kinda safe here because the Dragon Breath is double resisted. I can try to go for a Surf, but turns out this is not as safe as I expected, as the opponent can still go for a Body Slam, and as we can see here, 2 Body Slams are going to be enough to knock me out. Body Slam needs 5 less energy compared to Surf, and so they're definitely going to be able to outspeed me here to the next charge move, which is quite awkward. The opponent goes for the Body Slam, knocking me out. I can go back into the Naganadel and go for the full farm down, which is quite nice as the opponent goes for their Skeledirge. Skeledirge gonna go through here and gonna get knocked out by that Dragon Claw. And so we can finish up this final set here with a 4-1. Definitely a cool team, definitely was working quite well. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.